The other presidential candidate, Patrick Amuriat, I should have said, had voted, and some of the irregularities that were seen to have taken place. And yes, Patrick Amuriat, not a popular name in the leading up to this particular poll, because you've heard mostly of Bobby Wine and Yoweri Museveni, the incumbent, but there are 10 male candidates and 1 female candidate for the presidential seat, and we will be getting more from that. Something else that played out today was the arrest of several officials at the Hotel Africana in Kampala, where it was suspected by the local authorities that they were running a parallel tallying center. According to them, this is not allowed, and they have been arrested by cyber experts. This was earlier this evening and taken into custody, about 30 officials, and they did identify themselves as electoral observers. And of course, the country, given what has been happening, is very paranoid about people who are not within the system and have some form of equipment that is suspect to them. The country is still on an internet lockdown, in terms of, if I could call it that, and people who have been able to send information out on the internet have been using other platforms to bypass this blockade. We'll be getting more updates from there. Even getting through to them through the phone calls has been a challenge for some, but there's something else that was very evident on the streets of Uganda, whether it's in Kampala or in other areas. The heavy deployment of the military and other police officers from the different departments of the security machinery, just a show of might. And earlier in the day, the police spokesman was put to task on this heavy deployment. His name is Fred Enanga, and he was asked why this heavy deployment and whether this was adding up to intimidation. He said this is far from the truth, and they just wanted to ensure that there was peace as this exercise is carried out. Remember, Bobby Wine, the main opposition candidate, had asked his followers to stay on at the various polling stations and protect their votes, but the authorities had discouraged anyone who has already voted from dilly-dallying and asking everyone to get home. Another concern has been the protocols that have been followed, or the standard operating procedures of the COVID-19 protocols, if they have been followed. You've seen some of the pictures there in terms of the social and physical distancing, and whether people really followed the use of face masks and washing of hands, and even the big question of why biometric kits were being used at this time of the pandemic. Just a shot there of the security that has been deployed in Uganda in different parts. And this is not the only thing that we've been trailing in the border town of Busia. We also have the border community Malaba, where many people have actually crossed over from Uganda, and that's Kenyans who have worked within Uganda doing 1 or 2 businesses, or Ugandans who are in some form of concern or uncertainty as to what will play out based on what they saw, the heavy